Good evening, Predicted Trades family. Wanted to put together a video to kind of review the day today and then kind of transition into prep. So, we're looking at ES. We had a very strong Friday, pushed up into these squeeze tops, went sideways as they started to open up. We held the daily Keltner here, one Keltner down, and pushed off it to get through the 30-minute, 1 hour, and then up to the 4-hour squeeze top. Basically pushing against that and making it thinner and thinner to try and fire to the upside. Now, one thing I want to say, I know I throw a lot of indicators on a chart. It can start to look messy, but for me, it works and it tells me a lot. I've got all these different squeezes as levels to play off of the supply-demand tool. But let's just start stripping some things away. Get rid of supply and demand. We'll get rid of the squeezes. Actually, let's just go like this. And I'm just going to load up the daily averages and the Keltners. And I'll leave my drawing set. So, we open on Friday near the second Keltner down from the daily mean. The daily 21 is up here at this 45.20. This is one Keltner down, this is two Keltners down. So we fall to that, we get above it, one last test, we push off of it. We shore up these zones and push all the way up to the next Keltner and the daily 8 and the daily 200. We go sideways holding the daily Kelt. This is one Keltner down from the mean. Today we open, slip below it, but hold the pre-market low. Always important. It's always very bullish if we have a slip. Like we talked about pre-market, I expected a little dip. We tapped some squeeze cloud bottoms. We held pre-market low and set in a higher low to propel off of the daily Keltner through the daily 200 and the daily 8, all the way up to my target of that 44.89. Then we had that profit-taking V, straight down, straight up, and a push through my level, almost tapping the daily 15 and pretty darn close to the daily 21. So even though I do throw a lot of stuff on the charts, sometimes it does just boil down to key levels on the daily, like the daily Keltners, the daily moving averages, and playing off those and trying to recognize the strength, right? Holding up the pre-market low, pushing through the pre-market high. That's kind of your opening range that once it's out of, we're in breakout and we are, on a slow grind higher. We saw a lot of names today have a dip buy. As we look through our list of strikes that are output to the Predicted Trades bot, you'll notice that now a lot of these calls are in the money. They are highlighted. They are plum, as we like to say, given the color. But basically, a lot of these calls today played right off of our system, right off of the beast, right off of burgers, that kind of thing. A lot of these calls are now in the money. Some of these are on names that report earnings this week, but they still provided some ample opportunity with the overall market getting a big dip buy and rally. Understanding that context, it's okay to say if this then that. If we can hold pre-market low and the daily Keltner, sorry I switched to NQ, but if we can hold this and start to push, I should go long. If we break below this, I should be short. This being pre-market low, sorry. So yeah, plenty of good thesis today on the long side. NQ was leading pre-market. It was the only index that was green. And, all the other indexes turned around and rallied up. Let's look at some individual names, and let's just look at some individual strikes real quick. Apple, strong day off of the daily 50, up to the first Keltner up. Those 170s now in the money. Let's go look at those with our system. So we can see that they were bought every time we got near 90 cents, all last week. Friday was the last chance to get them for around $1. They closed today at 5.5 off of our levels. And today you could have picked them up around $3 to play to 4.5 and 5. Let's see, the 175s. Last chance you could have got those on Friday at 40 cents. They closed around $2 today. And today you could have picked them up out of the bottom burger bun at around 96 cents. They went to $1.80 for a double, and you could have played them a couple of times off of the top when it holds. 1.3 to 2 again. Let's take a look at AMD. They do report earnings, but chips were pretty strong on Friday with a nice big gap up. And even though we had earnings, let's go look at those AMD 110s. Those could have been got for $1.50 on Friday in our buy zone. They hit $7 today. With the gap up, they opened at the top burger. Could have picked those up for the 347 to go up to 7. Let's look around. Amazon got up to about 3,000 after holding this zone that I built, and off of the third Keltner down to get to the second and the first on the way back to the mean. Let's look at the Amazon 3000s. With our system, could have got those on Friday for 1,500, or $15. When they gap up and push, could have got them at open for around 38, pushed up to about 72 from 15. Let's keep going. Facebook had a strong day. They also report earnings this week. They held that 294. I played that long on, I feel like, Thursday and Friday. And they open at that 299. Well, dip to the 299 for a perfect little dip buy off that key level. You see how I just have a few key levels on this chart? Picked it up there. Let's go look at what the 310s, the 300s could have picked up for 7.4. They closed at 18. Jump to those 310s. You could have picked up for 3.8. They closed around 11. And today you could have played them off the bottom burger for about $5 to 11. A little over a double. And, just keeps going like that all across the board. Google does report earnings this week, so a little expensive, but those went 5 to 75. Moderna had quite a day. Where are you, Moderna? There. Off of this daily Keltner, 158, all the way up to about 170 in the cash session. Let's see, those 170s you could have picked up for 2.6. They went to 6.5. Netflix had a nice strong day. Let's look at all these Netflix that are now in the money. 400's gapped up to 10. We're into 29. It was the 420s that were real nice. They sat in the bottom burger all day Friday. Lows of about 70 cents. Those hit 14 today, and you could have played them off the top bun of around $3, $3.30, up to about 14. So yeah, just the system kind of working all across the board and leading to some awesome plays today. Those 240s on NVIDIA. So if you haven't noticed the trend, basically everything on Friday was holding bottom burgers, was hitting their beast numbers and starting to get bought up, starting to pop off of beast and bottom burger on Friday for all of these calls that we have looked at. What that means for today is a continuation play. So I picked up some SPY this morning. It was the 445s. But let's actually take a quick look at this because someone did bring this up. These 455s for Friday's expiration, they had a beast of 25 cents to 50 cents. On Friday, they hit, 29 to 50 a few times, get loaded up. Today, those hit $2 at the highs on the 455s for this Friday. Now, if we look at the 445s that I played today's expiration, this is kind of trying to illuminate the continuation play, right? Those, I think, hit beast right around here before they got to the bottom burger. They, actually the bottom burger's too low, so they hit beast, got bought up, came back and hit beast again, and going into close, they set this upward trend, right? After going down in a downward trend, they go sideways, and then they start an upward trend. You can draw a trend line from the lows at open, pretty much hit the trend line at the bottom of 75 cents, pops up out of the bottom burger, gets back to where they closed at, so this right here is just filling the gap, and then they teeter around, hitting the trend line, moving higher. I played these today. I can't remember my average, but I did hit them on this pullback, so I think it was around like $1.15, $1.20, something like that. And locked some up at $2, $2.50, held some out to the end of the day, $3.50, even left one runner. Didn't add, but really wanted to catch that ad at the burger patty right in the middle at about $1.60 for a quick double and hitting highs around 4 and 5, right? So this is kind of the continuation of the action on Friday that we've seen on a lot of these calls. Let's go look at like these Tesla 900 calls. So we all saw that Tesla last week fell. I did not hit any of the calls on Friday because they just weren't getting bought for Friday's expiration. They all just kept tearing through their beast zone. But for this week's expiration, these calls did hold their beast. So these 900s held their burger bottom at around 7.64, which is right in the middle of their beast, basically. Those went up to about 49 today. Those 950s, here I went ahead and marked the beast zone at around 350 to 650. You can see Friday it hit that and it held it all day. And, just like we had a downward trend, sideways, loading at our beast zone, today we get the upward trend. You could have picked those up at $3 on Friday. Today you could have got them as low as top of the beast, which was $6.50, and they went up to about $20. So just wanted to go through that lesson real quick on, how to come into the week, how to size up not only your equity, not only what's going on with your equity to see what can happen, just like we come into the day on ES, we're holding this daily Kelt, we're bouncing between this daily MA. So you come up with a thesis. Can we hold whatever the pre-market low is and this daily Kelt to push off it? Or do we reject it and head back to the zones that we were playing with last week? We got the former and took off, so I actually went long. Woo, it's a little too tight. I went long on this pullback. So I saw us getting to the 200, knew that we'd get a little bit of selling, and when we held the 445 call that I played on SPY was hitting Beast one last time before taking off. So kind of how I played the day and reacted to the price action that I was seeing. I did also pick up some SPY puts. I think I played the 444s from this peak down and locked some profit, but overall the puts just didn't move that well. I locked a little bit of profit while I went heavy on the calls, even though I think I picked up a put first on this rejection, and then I picked up a little heavy on the call side just in case we're going higher, since we held the pre-market low, and that ended up working out. So just that quick lesson and review, and then I'll put out a prep video next.